This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Monday edition of Locked On Bets. November, it's underway now, at least on the show here, Lee, as we get going. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We got plenty to recap from the weekend. Also, college basketball tipped off this morning. There's games from this morning to this afternoon to nighttime. So we have a college basketball play for later on. Cardinals and Cowboys wrap up week 9 in the NFL, couple NBA plays. So, Lee, let's get right to it. A lot of blowouts today, so let's start with the NBA blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Let's begin at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, the Knicks, as they take on the Washington Wizards tonight. And no rest for the weary for the New York Knicks. And it's been a bit of an up and down start for them, but they do beat the Bulls last night, getting some revenge for their loss at Chicago. So they handed the Bulls their first loss. Now they take on the Wizards, who we know will not be a playoff team this year. But Lee, double-digit favorite, the Knicks tonight. What do you like with them against Washington?
All right, so Washington got off a nice start, won a game, and to start the season, then all of a sudden, to me, it's same old Washington Wizards. So scoring points early, now back down to 22nd in the league. That, to me, that's the only way they're going to beat teams, is to outscore them. And the biggest bugaboo why they're not going to win many games again this year is they do not play defense. They're now 30th scoring defense after just, I think it's 5 games. So doesn't take long. Usually the cream rises to the top here, or ends up going down the drain. So they got some scores, no doubt about that. Keyshawn George, who was from Miami, 18.7 points per game, 7.8 rebounds. But last year, I think he was like 28, 29% shooting threes, horrible, probably improved, but he has some horrible games. He's probably due for one. Alex Sarr, 17 points. CJ McCallum, 14 points. Columbia, Trey Johnson, Chris Middleton, all those guys are from 11 to 13 points. But these guys just don't play defense and don't like the setup. All of a sudden, Knicks, they enter Sunday going 2-3. But they're a team that I think is going to go on a run now. They had a couple new guys they needed to integrate into the offense, and looks like they're going to start coming around. Jordan Clarkson, need him, put the ball in the basket, took him a couple games, and Landry Shamet also like him. Josh Hart, they've had him coming off the bench, but I think this is a time to start getting ready to play on the Knicks here. So most people look at the line, they're like double digits, 12.5, but this might be one of those games where it's going to be 25, 30-point easy win here for the Knicks. So we're going to start off Monday, start off the week with the New York Knicks. Lay the spot, 12.5 over the Washington Wizards. Blowout special.
All right out of the gate, and a busy NBA card tonight. And a lot going on now with baseball in the rearview mirror with the Dodgers, their dramatic win over the Blue Jays, and NASCAR ended yesterday. So now we start college basketball, and we're going to get to college basketball in a little bit. So very busy time. And with all that being said, Lee, looking back at the weekend now, first for our selections here on the show, a couple of the big plays. You had the 49ers on Friday, and also you recommended them in a short on our YouTube channel earlier this week. And the Giants just don't have any weapons. That's the problem. And Jackson Dart can only do so much with Malik Neighbors out, with Cam Scatterbo out, and San Francisco, after their subpar performance at Houston, they came out, went east to New York, and played well and got the win.
Yeah. So San Francisco, obviously missing some key players, and it's going to hurt them against the better teams. It was a big play for me in my service, actually, also. Didn't say so. I can't Can't, my clients that are paying for it, if they could just get the freebies here, they wouldn't need to subscribe. But it was actually my biggest play on Sunday. So Giants just have too many guys that are, like would be at best the third receiver, would at best be probably the third running back on a team, and just too much for Jackson Dart. And the defense was stressed being out in the field. So McCaffrey's really good. San Francisco, they get 5, 6, 7 yards almost every first down. Coming out of the backfield, I don't know if there's a better threat there. So they used him. They were down some guys on offense, some of their receivers, but even the backup quarterback, Matt Jones, one of the better backup quarterbacks, was enough to win that one easy. So felt really good about that. And it played out almost exactly the way I wanted it to.
And also we hit on the Panthers. They beat the Packers outright as double-digit dogs. It was around 12.5, 13. And, I just like the spot. Green Bay off the Pittsburgh win on national TV. Philadelphia coming up Monday night. Carolina off the 49 loss to Buffalo. And granted, Bryce Young didn't play in that game. It was Andy Dalton, and he was hurt, and he's old and all this other stuff. So, but Carolina, though, Carolina's been a very good surprise. They were 0-2 out of the gate. They played extremely well over the last 6 weeks or so.
Coached well, and great call by you. If only you had played that on the money line, it probably wouldn't have. If you wouldn't have shown up today, you probably would have been in the Bahamas or owned part of the Bahamas today. So, I don't think anyone saw them winning the game, but great call by you. And sometimes all the parts don't look great on Carolina, but the sum of a team coming together, that kind of pretty much defines Carolina. So there's going to be teams like that. Washington last year wasn't great. Now they're injured this year, and they're falling apart. So not many key injuries except for quarterback for Young for a couple of games, but he's back, and who knows? Maybe they can sneak in the playoffs or make a run there.
Well, at least in that NFC South, the Saints are kind of done. The Falcons have fallen apart. Carolina can be a second-place team when it's all said and done behind Tampa Bay. The NFL loss, though, you had the Colts against the Steelers, and it was one of those games where Pittsburgh's defense had stunk. They shut down Daniel Jones. The Colts' offense had been great. They could do nothing against him, and Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers delivered and had a nice home win over the Colts.
Yeah, I still don't think Pittsburgh's that good. They did get 4 turnovers in this game. Got 4 in one of their other wins, and didn't have a whole lot of offense. But when you get the ball on the other team's side of the ball, you're going to win a lot of games. So Danny Dimes turned into Danny Disaster. So it was typical old Danny Dimes. I thought Indianapolis would maybe at least win this game. Then they'd start having trouble. I should have turned on them one game earlier.
Yeah, the original Danny Dimes was back on Sunday. In college football, Georgia Tech, they are handed their first loss. They fall to NC State on Saturday night in Raleigh, and they felt like it was behind the whole game, and they just couldn't get it going.
Yeah, they defense was terrible. Offense was good enough. Defense just terrible. I didn't think their defense was great. I thought they'd lose down the road. Thought they'd win one more game. So, should have gotten off probably Georgia Tech and the Colts going into this weekend, but you live and learn.
Now, as far as the SEC, though, Vanderbilt, they were down big in that game. Arch Manning didn't know if he was going to play. He ended up suiting up, and he was great. But then Vanderbilt made it interesting. They outscored Texas 21-0 in the fourth quarter and ended up losing by 3. We're going to call that a push. That line was moving back and forth with the Arch news. But Vandy, I'll give them credit, though. They got down in a big hole in that game, and they still made it interesting in the end.
That quarterback just something else. Probably never going to play pros. Well, maybe in the Canadian Football League, maybe, but not a starter in there. But they don't give up. The line was 2.5. It opened, was 3 most of Friday and Saturday early, and closed 3.5. So we'll call it a push. So that's important. That's why it's important to get a really good line. So if you were betting Vandy early, you lost. Most places are pushed. Bet it late Friday or middle of the day Friday on. Pushed or won. So just one of those crazy things where you want to have 2 or 3 outs so you can get the best line. A half a point or a point difference course of the season can turn you from a loser into a winner.
Now, a couple notes want to get you from college football. Number one, Hugh Freeze gets fired from Auburn. So I feel like Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart, and Lane Kiffin are the only guys safe in that entire conference, and everyone else just getting fired. But now Auburn is open. LSU is open. Florida is open. So I guess not really a surprise because Auburn just really underachieved under Hugh Freeze.
I mean, a lot of close losses. Defense was fine. He was brought in to bring in the offense. That's what he was known for at Ole Miss when he was there before he had his troubles. But bottom line is wins and losses. And they've got the money there at Auburn. I mean, they are well funded. They have the alumni. They got NIL money. They're going to be fine. You don't think of them quite as a Florida or an LSU, but they're right there. They do have a lot of money, and they get the right coach. They'll be able to do it. They got a couple good receivers in the transfer portal and recruiting wise. Just couldn't find the right quarterback. Jackson Arnold, everyone thought was going to take them back to where they had been or be at least pretty good, and he didn't get the job done. They went to the Stanford transfer. He was so bad in the game. They brought in Arnold late in the game, and he couldn't rescue him. When you score only 3 points against Kentucky at home, that's it. You're done. So he's toast, and I think we're going to see more. I think South Carolina, their coach, Beamer, he ends up firing Mike Shula. So he's done, and I think he'll be gone or he'll step down. And if I had to take a guess, go back to Virginia Tech. I think the Kentucky coach, there's going to be an opening there. Mike Norvell, your former squad, even though they had a great game. There's going to be a lot of good openings. The question is, where are all these great candidates? I don't see them. So the key I always told people is if you're going to fire a coach, have a list of at least 3, 4, 5, 6 people that you think are going to accept the job and can take you to the next level. And unfortunately, I don't think most of these ADs have that list ready or have someone ready to go.
All right, I want to get to this before we get to some more picks, Lee. The controversy in the UFC on Saturday, which I know you have an opinion about because we didn't release that pick on the show Friday. But as far as this, I hate to use the term, but almost like this fix here with Isaac Delgarian, where he was a huge favorite on Saturday night, and that line just plummeted, and he ends up losing. He ends up getting kicked out of UFC. So what did you think about everything, and just kind of recap what that whole situation was?
Okay. Well, first of all, we did lose actually our bet a little win a lot on Cody Durden. Full disclosure there. Took a shot on him at plus more than 200. Great first round, won easy, and then he hits it with an elbow and loses. So that was unfortunate. But in that fight, we had Isaac Delgarian. He was a minus 250 favorite. And I think maybe I'm going to say Thursday or Friday, all of a sudden there was some money that came on his opponent, Yadier Del Valle. So not only was there money coming in on Del Valle, that would be one thing. There was money coming in on Del Valle to win in the first round. And what makes it even more controversial or more, you raise your eyebrows is Delgarian is a great grappler, 100% takedown defense, never been taken down in his 3 previous fights, known as a great grappler, great on the ground. So then a couple of hours before the fight, there's money that comes in, huge money that comes in. So you have to understand Delgarian is a minus 250 favorite. So you'd have to wager $250 just to win $100 if you want to wager on him. So as a finish, for him to finish in the first round was like 15 to 1. I'm sorry. You'd have to wager $1,500 or $1,400 just to win $100. There was so much bet on Yadier Del Valle to win the fight. He went down to almost a pick'em. So a very small underdog. So that was one thing. And then what tipped everyone off to there's something going on here is there was a huge influx of money for him to win in the first round. So it went down from plus 950 to I think plus 2,300, somewhere in that range. Big money. The fight starts and They're, feeling each other out for the first 20, 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden, Bulgarian goes for a takedown. And he literally, it was so half-hearted, it was pathetic. He ends up getting taken down easily, gives up his back, and then gets choked out. And it was so bad that during the fight, the announcers talked about it. And in the post-fight, they talked about it. And I checked. I can't find someone else. If someone else finds someone else, within 30 minutes of the fight ending, and I was talking about it with my UFC guy before the fight and during the fight, I tweeted out that there was something funny. There was funny business going on. You can check out my tweet at Paramount Sports. And I even put in the graph of the betting. And then all of a sudden, a couple offshore sports books came out and said, we are going to refund you the money, give you a cash credit if you bet on Bulgarian or if you had him in any type of parlay. So when they come out and say that, tells you there's a real problem. Now we're finding out that the FBI notified the UFC before the fight took place and of the area of what was going on, and they did not pull the fight. So to me, UFC's got a real big problem. Now all of a sudden, yesterday or late last night, they released Bulgarian. Looks like, just telling you, if it looks like, smells like, and this was definitely, in my opinion, I would say there's a 95% chance there was a fixed. This was a fixed fight. So just my opinion. I tweeted about it within 30 minutes. I think I was the first one who tweeted about it, and then obviously some other people in the sports. As soon as the sports books ended up tweeting about it, it went absolutely nuts. It's all over social media. It's a black eye for the UFC, who's already had a horrible year. There's no fighters that are exciting right now. No fighters from the United States are putting fights in all these different countries. They're worried about expansion. But, sometimes you got to worry about what's going on here close to home and also in the UFC. And it's been a rough year, a horrible year for the UFC.
Well, we still have plenty to get to here, Lee. We have NBA, we have college basketball, we have NFL. We have a lot of picks to get to here. Very busy Monday on Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and that's right, NFL season continuing, and FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You have Cardinals Cowboys tonight in Dallas. Dak Prescott, if you want to look at his passing props, maybe some of the receivers, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, what they could do, Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Cardinals side. And you can bet on the side, the total, the money line. Cowboys a short favorite in that game. Also, if you want to look at perhaps some of the futures, you want to look at the MVP of the NFL, you want to look at Super Bowl odds, all of that you can find at FanDuel. And again, they are updating every day. The Chiefs, they are still the favorite in spite of their loss to the Bills on Sunday, but Buffalo's right behind him. And guess what? Josh Allen, he is the new favorite to win MVP at FanDuel at plus 150. Patrick Mahomes dropped down to 430. Even Drake May's in the mix there from the Patriots at 4-1. So you have the futures, you have the Super Bowl champion, AFC, NFC champion, all of that, the games, the player props, it's all there at FanDuel. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue here, Locked On Bets on a Monday, and let's get to the NBA, Lee. Another NBA selection and a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
The Utah Jazz, they were blown out by the Charlotte Hornets last night, and they take on the Boston Celtics tonight. Almost jumped ahead a little bit. And the Celtics, a 10-point favorite at home. We're going to take the points with the Utah Jazz. The first two games of their road trip have been a bit disastrous, getting blown out at Phoenix and losing by 23 to an unrested Charlotte team. Last night, the Hornets had lost to Minnesota on Saturday, but Charlotte rebounded last night. The Jazz, they've showed some signs of life, beating the Clippers at home convincingly, beating the Suns at home, but then they lost at Phoenix after that. still looking for their first road win. And also, this is the biggest point spread the Jazz are seeing this year. They were 9.5-point dogs against the Clippers and beat them outright. Meanwhile, for Boston, they just lost by 27 points to Kevin Durant and the Rockets back on Saturday. So everyone thinks they would just rebound tonight, but they haven't laid this amount of points all year. And as a favorite, they are 1-2 against the spread. It's a small sample size. Celtics are a beat-up team. I think Utah bounces back here, at least stays within the points. We'll take them against the Celtics as our hidden gem.
I like it. Boston, I don't think is going to blow out too many teams this year, Kevin. So, Utah, probably not going to back them a whole lot this year, but this is a game I think the line should be like 8, 9, 10, not double digits.
Yeah, so we'll see if Utah can play a little better tonight. We know they could score, but defensively they're not so great. So now, guess what? College hoops is back tonight, and there's a million games. And actually, Las Vegas, there's a couple good games. Florida, Arizona is the first game, but then the second game is BYU and Villanova. And time now for a blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
So Kevin Willard, who basically quit on Maryland at the end of the tournament last year, he got a job at Villanova. He's now leading the Wildcats. We'll see if they can get back to greatness. They haven't found that since Jay Wright retired. Taking on BYU, star freshman. BYU's a top 10 team. They could score a lot, and they're favorite here. Lee, what do you like with the Cougars and the Wildcats?
All right, so the Wildcats, Villanova, 21-15 last year. They couldn't put it together. So made a lot of changes. A lot of guys left the program who were senior. And Kevin Willard, who I think is a pretty good coach here, guided actually Maryland before he left to a 27-9 record and a Sweet 16 appearance. That's how he was able to get this Villanova job. I probably would have stayed at Maryland. Only returning, his top returning player is a guy named Tyler Perkins, 6'4" junior guard. Tyler Perkins averaged all of 6 points a game. He did bring in 3 transfers we think are going to be significant contributors here. All average between 10 and 13 points. They're transfers from James Madison, Temple, and Grand Canyon. But I think it's going to take a little while to get going here. BYU ended up losing in, I think it was a round of 16 to Alabama, Sweet 16. Lost by like 20 points, but they just got run out of the gym because they faced a team that could do what they could do, maybe even a little bit better. They lost 113-88 to Alabama. They're a top 10 team, start the season, ranked number 8. They're a team that has a shot to make it to the Final Four. Number 1 high school player in the country, A.J. Desponza, is going to be incredible. They return a guard named Richie Sanders. Rich Sanders is really good, averaged 16.5 points per game. Their leading rebounder, Kibaketa, he averaged about 7.5 points, almost 8 rebounds a game, and have a lot of really good wings that average between 9 and 11 points. So I think they're ready to go right out of the gate here. Not much of a travel here, as you know, BYU to Las Vegas. It's about 4.5, 5-hour drive. So you got Villanova going cross country for this game here, and 8.5, probably going to climb to 9, 9.5. Get on it early here. I'm going to take BYU. It's going to be my second blowout special of the Monday.
Yeah, a lot of games in college basketball. So tread lightly. If you don't go crazy on all the games, you have so many day in and day out with the 365 teams, whatever it is in Division I. So should be a really fun season now that it's underway. Coming up, we will talk about the NFL. Cardinals and the Cowboys, they hook up. Old NFC East rivals from a million years ago, but they hook up tonight in Dallas. We'll see if the Cowboys can bounce back from their ugly loss at Denver last week as we continue Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets rolls on here on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Now it's time for our third blowout special now in the NFL.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
The Arizona Cardinals, they started 2-0. They haven't won since. They've dropped 5 straight. Now Jacoby Brissett starting again for the injured Kyler Murray. And the Cowboys, good offensively, bad defensively. Denver torched them last week. So now Cowboys back at home, about a field goal favorite against the Cardinals. Lee, what do you like here?
So Arizona started off 2-0. And who did they beat? Carolina. They beat New Orleans. Then all of a sudden, 5 straight losses, and all close, all within a touchdown. So some people are going to put them in teasers here, figuring, hey, they can hang close. I'll take it up from 3 points up to 9 points. It'll be within a touchdown, but I'm not so sure that's the play. Jacoby Brissett has played, I think, as good or better than expected. He is one of these guys, these retread quarterbacks that will play 3-4 games in a row well and then have the game that he blows up. Not that Dallas is a good defense at all, but playing at home here, think that they're going to put Brissett in a bad situation. Why? I think they can score. Top 2, top 3 all year in scoring. Finally got CD Lamb back. George Pickens comes over from Pittsburgh, doing a great job. Jake Ferguson, tight end, one of the top tight ends. So you're thinking, oh, well, that's it. They can't run the ball. Not the case. They're 13th in rushing yards. So they can run and throw. Defense isn't great here, but if lead, these guys on defense can pin their ears back and get a couple sacks here on Brissett, who is not very mobile. So I just think the Cardinals, team that's always struggled, and with a backup quarterback, this is going to be the game where they get blown out here. So we're going to go with a third blowout here on Monday. Start the week, blowout special. Dallas Cowboys lay the 3 against Arizona on Monday Night Football. I think they get the easy win, probably something like 34-17.
All right, and Dovember's underway, Lee. So we are ready. Paramount Sports, NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL. So much going on now with baseball in the rearview mirror. And what's going on with Paramount Sports?
Yep, they want to try out our football Dovember, not November. Every game through the end of the month. Normally $4.97 for the show here. Only today, put in coupon code SAVE200, just $297. So you're going to get 4 full weeks of action, and there's games every single day, Tuesday, Wednesdays even, and you're going to get probably 12 to 14, 13 to 15 games every single week where we rate the games from 10 to 50 units. So when you're checking out the Dovember special, put in coupon code SAVE200, just $297. Like I said, college basketball starts. Get the full season, $14.97. It's normally $19.97. So, get NBA and college basketball from today all the way through the NBA Finals in June 2026. So you're going to get November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Almost 8 full months. $1,497, one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. And throughout the week, check out our shorts on YouTube, as Lee will have those bite-sized videos, less than a minute long, and provide winners there. Also, the podcast you can find on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Locked On Bets. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. We will talk to you again coming up on Tuesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.